just going to kind of show you guys some basics here. I'm going to show you how to sharpen a knife, how to keep a knife sharp, and then I'll show you a few cutting things just to help you out. All of you are going to get this stone set, right? So this is the base so that if it's on a table, like it doesn't shift as much. This little rubber sleeve, that'll keep the stone. These are water stones. So what you need to do, and the reason that you're not going to use it here, is you need to immerse it in water and just wait till the bubbles disappear. It only takes like 3 or 4 minutes before you use it. The numbers on here, 400, is if you need to fix a knife, like there's chips in it or it's just like super dull. And the 1000 is for regular sharpening. So when you set it up, after this soaks in water, you'll pop it in that little rubber sleeve and then you'll have it on your table. All of them come with one of these too. So this just sits over your knife. Oops. Like that. And then, so when you sharpen, your angle's already decided. So then you don't have to try and keep your angle, because the angle is the thing that's the most important. If you lose this or you don't have it, I always just put my thumb in the middle, and then I always make sure my thumb sits on the stone. This, so after you use your stone for a bit, it'll start to get a bit of a dip in it, depending on how you use it. So you just take a pencil and you just draw a grid on it, and then you just rub it with this until the grid disappears, and then your stone's flat again. This is mine. It's basically the same, except this is a ceramic stone. So this doesn't have to be soaked. I can just put water on it and start. So I got a little bit of water. This is a Japanese way of sharpening knives. So when you have it, you just set it on the stone and just back and forth. And then you just move the knife as you go. Sorry, this isn't going to work. No, because I don't want to cut you. I mean, maybe I do. So you just do that. When you go this way, when you get, because you got to do the other side as well too, you go like this, but be careful, because you know, this is important areas, right? So you keep doing this until it's sharp. This knife's particularly dull, it's going to take a while. So it's just back and forth, just straight, and you're just, I'm only moving the knife, and you can just stay in like one spot, hang out. So that's why I don't like the low tables, right? Because I'm tall. Yeah. And when you're bending over, then you're just going to wreck your back, and it's not going to matter. When you do that, if you have a low table, you put like your business kind of close to the table and just tilt your head down when you do it. You don't want to bend. And you guys will have this on, because this will help you. So this just rubs against the stone. As long as that's on the stone, your angle is always going to be good. When you're done, then you take the steel. So the steel, they're magnetic. So what they do is they pull the burrs away from that have come in the knife as you've been sharpening it. You just do this, right? And you don't have to do it fast. Being fast isn't doing it well. Even this is enough. You'll see a lot of people do it like this. I was always taught not to cut towards myself, so I do it always away. It's the angle that matters. This is a 90-degree angle, and then that's 45, and you want to be like 45 in there, like around 18 degrees is the magic number. To see if my knife is sharp, so I like tomatoes. So what you should be able to do, if you've done your job right, is with no pressure, slice the tomato. Like, so you see I'm not pushing at all. I'm just trying to slice, which this knife's really dull and it won't. This is my better knife. See? So if you can get no pressure and you can slice a tomato, particularly a softer tomato, then your knife's in good shape. For small knives, like paring knives, you wouldn't be able to put this on, but it's still the same thing. Paring knives, I usually just throw them away. I don't bother sharpening them because they're hard to, but it's the same thing. Back and forth, and then you always wipe the junk off. So still needs a little bit more because when I'm doing it, I can just feel that it's not quite sliding through. Serrated knives are really hard to sharpen. You can't do it on the stone. See the little, like the little grooves on the other side, they'll have like what looks like a little pocket on it. If you want to try and get them, put that little pocket in here and then just do each one and that'll help it. If you can, I like knives a little bit more than I probably should. So I have a lot and I have some that are very expensive too. So I buy knife guards for all my knives. So it just covers the knife when you put it in a drawer or something like that. So the blade always stays sharp. When you put it in a drawer and it's with other utensils or other things, then anything that knocks against the blade is going to dull it. So then if you have a knife guard, it doesn't kind of matter what you do with it. How you cut matters too, right? So who cuts like this where you're pointing at people? Nobody? You do? No. Never. Pointing's rude, right? Don't point. It's called a pinch grip. What you want to do is you want to just pinch the knife like here, right? So you can just hold it with those two fingers and then your other fingers just wrap around the blade. If you're just going to like chop something, most people chop like this. You want to chop like this. You're always rocking back and forth. This part of the knife, like right here, right? That's the part you want to use the most. And this is the part where you can put the most pressure when you need it. My wife, when she uses a knife, she saws. It's not a saw, it's a knife. So you always want to, right, when you cut. So just a rocking motion. It takes practice. I've done it a long time, so it's easy, but it always takes practice. The other thing, so when you're looking down at your knife, you should just see the spine of the blade, right? Like just that part. If you see the flat of the knife, it's because your hand's crooked. Some people have a hard time straightening out their wrist. Like if you can see my wrist when I'm doing it, like my wrist is straight, I'm not moving, but lots of people curve their wrist. If you find that you do that, just turn your body, right? Because that'll help keep your knife straight. When you're looking, you're watching yourself do it, but I'm never actually like, oh, like this one here I cut too thick, like I can see it. But I don't stop doing it. I just correct every time I go. So you don't want to go back over something you've already cut. You just want to do it one time, but you just want to recognize when you're like, oh, I'm getting sloppy or I'm not paying attention or something like that. Just correct it. Don't cut a bunch of things and then sit here and like go over it. It's wasteful time. And because the knife never actually leaves the cutting board, it's safer. And I'm like, but Derek, you don't have any fingers. What do you know about safety? I actually know quite a bit. So for those of you that have regular hands, you want to try and do the claw. It's very uncomfortable and you won't want to do it, which is how you know it's the right thing to do. If you're doing the claw, then you have your hand like this. And the flat of this knuckle, the blade never passes it. So as you're cutting, you're never pulling the blade up and never passes that top knuckle. And your other fingers are all tucked behind here. You can't cut yourself. It's impossible. Because your knife never leaves, right? And, so here I am doing it and I'm not even looking. But I can't cut myself because I can feel the knife all the time. Cutting boards, when you like set up your station, like this is small, but normally you'd have like your bigger size cutting board. You always have a wet cloth under it to keep it straight. Often your cutting boards will warp, right? Just from like washing them and stuff like that. So there'll be a little dip. So always make sure that the dip is down. So like it would be like this, because then it's still touching the cloth, which means the board's not going to shift when you do it. After you have all that set up, is everybody right-handed? Is anybody left-handed? Right, everybody? So how you want to do it is you're a robot, effectively, like a machine. So you want to have your raw product on your left side. Your cutting board is just what you're cutting. And then you want to have whatever your vessel is that you're putting your cut product into. So only thing on your cutting board is actually what you're processing in that moment. And if you use your knife, a lot of people like doing this, to scoop. Be careful because you can cut yourself. but also that can dull your knife a bit too. So always just be careful, right? Because you're going against, the cutting board is meant for straight up and down. And so anytime you're scraping, you're going against that.
That's a paper thin slice you got there.
Yeah, look.
Nicely done.
Pizza.
I'll let you guys try this.
Sandwich.
The reason you want to do the pinch is that you have more control at the center, like at the center of the knife, right? That's the only reason. It's all about control. You almost kind of want to pinch there. You don't want to pinch.
To be sharpened.